I felt like this one was more, how do you say, science-y?
All attack tanks are ready.
So this is book 3 in the Murderbot Diaries, and in this one, Murderbot is going to like a terraforming facility / mining facility to find some information on the evil corporation GrayCris to help Dr. Mensah with her like investigation into that evil corporation. And once again, Murderbot comes across some humans that need help, and he reluctantly helps them. There is a bit of a double cross in the middle of it. Action ensues. Witty retorts go flying. Murderbot's sassiness comes out, and along the way we also get to meet another smart robot that's like emotional. Her name's Mickey. Yeah. So in book 2 we got to meet Art, which was like a super intelligent transport. He had issues with understanding human emotions because he had no connection to them, and Murderbot helped him understand human emotions a bit. And in this one, I feel like Murderbot gets to play the role of Art in that he's smarter than Mickey, but Mickey is also more in touch with her emotions. Yeah. Or at least doesn't question her emotions that much, because she has this like loving relationship with her human counterpart, and they sincerely love each other. And Murderbot doesn't understand it.
I know, he's like, what the heck, are you their little pet? That's so
weird.
Yeah,
he calls her the pet, yeah. Because I guess the human kind of treats her like a pet, but so would you. You would treat a loved one kind of like a pet if you really like, loved them and cared for them, right? So I think Murderbot's just confused.
Yeah, but you know, he kept saying like maybe she's like a dog that was never like beaten or something. You know, she didn't know.
She never experienced the worst of humanity.
Yeah, so like this is why she's like so like, oh, these are my friends. I love them and they love me, and like it's great to have friends.
And she's so trusting, and right off the bat, Murderbot tells her, hey, don't tell anyone, but I'm here to protect your super special human. So as long as you keep it secret, I'm going to help you keep them safe. She's like, okay, definitely.
She's like, only if you promise. And he's like, oh my God, am I talking to a child right now? I have to make a promise.
And then there was so many times where he had to like pause his connection to her.
Yeah, I know.
And he was like, I just have to have an emotion in private right now.
Oh my God, when he did that, I was like, oh no, he didn't. He basically was like, hold on. So funny.
So it was funny because we got to see the roles reversed from book 2. Once again, you know, Art was the smart one. Now Murderbot is kind of the smart one. But they learned something from each other in the process.
I think he also became a little like, not bitter about it, because I think he kind of realized that he was sort of Mickey in a way to Dr. Mensah and his group. Like, they cared about him.
He had said in the book that he doesn't understand why he's so angry with Mickey. He's like, Mickey has something that I think I want, and I don't understand why.
I think he does or did have it, and I think because he ran away from it is why he's so angry about it, because I think he couldn't accept it. He couldn't accept like the love that they were giving him.
Right. I think when he first got it, it was weird to him, and he just ran away from it, right? Yeah. But now that he has time away from it, he has time to reflect on it.
And he sees Mickey and all her friends.
How Mickey turned out, and he's like, maybe I could have had that.
Or still have that.
I don't think he makes that plain in the story, so it's kind of left up to the reader to piece it all together, what you think it is. That's what I thought too. I was like, oh, he's missing his own humans.
Yeah, it made me really sad because I was like, oh, he really misses them.
But I don't think at this point we can call them humans anymore. You know, they're just simply friends because he's sentient, he's intelligent. They're now just friends. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it's like talking about people, right? Like, you can't really talk about people as different races. We're all humans. Now we're all just friends, right? Where we're talking about robots in the future, it's very similar to like talking about slavery in the past, right? We saw slaves as non-humans. They're things that can be owned and bossed around. That's kind of how robots are in this story. They're just things.
Yeah.
And you own them, and you can destroy them if you want. But these ones are becoming sentient and coming to terms with what that freedom means and how to handle it.
Yeah. And I love how in this third book, I felt like it was a mixture of the first and second book. Because, okay, now there's this group of humans that he doesn't know, that he needs to use them to get somewhere, but that he ends up protecting. And it's a another planet, kind of like the first one. And some shifty stuff is happening. Yeah. And GrayCris, there you go. They're involved again.
Of course.
You know. So I kind of, and like the same similar type of action was happening.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
it's the same. We're starting to notice a formula, right? Yeah. Whereas he shows up somewhere, he needs to team up with humans to go do something. And in that process, he kills a lot of things and makes a connection with people or robots in the process. Saves the day, moves on. Although I will say, in book 1, I felt like it was the beginning of an adventure, and at the end, it was like the universe was wide open to us. Yes. Anything could happen. He's going off to the
somewhere,
stars.
Anywhere, yeah.
Right? And I was ready for the adventure. In book 2, it was similar. He made a friend, although it was bittersweet because he decided to leave that friend at the end of book 2, but the adventure was continuing. And in book 3, it is kind of like melancholic or like sad because I won't give the ending away, but the ending is very sad. And it doesn't leave you with this feeling like you're ready for the next adventure.
I know.
It kind of gave me a feeling like our adventures have consequences, right? Whereas the first 2, anything could happen and Murderbot was going to save the day. But in book 3, it's like our adventures are starting to have consequences that are kind of sad.
Kind of sad. Hold on.
When I was reading this and I saw the ending, I don't want to give the ending away, but when I read the ending, I was like...
Manchi all over again?
Manchi and The Knife of Never Letting Go, when the dog dies. Now, I would say it's about similar.
Right?
Which is interesting because in the last video we were talking about these books being so short, so succinct, and well written. Martha Wells was able to give us that same emotional connection to a character that The Knife of Never Letting Go did with the dog, but
that was like 400 pages.
In that book, it took 400 pages to make that emotional connection. Martha Wells is such a great writer that she does it in about 80 pages.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I love about this series is they're so succinct. When I read that part at the ending, I'm not going to give it away, but when I read that part, it was sad. My first thought was, Retha's crying right now.
I was dying crying. I legit, because that was like the very end, right?
Yeah.
I was pulling up to check into the base.
Yeah.
And I was in full tears and I had to show the guy my ID to get in. And he was looking at me like, this girl's cray. Like, oh my God. And I was crying. It wouldn't stop. I cried for like 10 minutes. And then I went walking into one of the buildings. I was trying to like wipe my tears away. I was like, I can't be this embarrassing. Like that, it hurt so bad. And all I was saying was, Mickey, Manchi, characters with the letter M. That's obviously the trend. Don't name your characters.
Don't make me care about characters if you're gonna kill them off.
God, I seriously was dying.
Yeah, it was so sad. I didn't. Again, just like Manchi, I didn't want it to be true. Right? In The Knife of Never Letting Go, when Manchi died, I wanted the next chapter to be like, but he was okay, like they just patched him back together. Or at the end of the book, he like runs up, he's like, oh, he didn't kill him. Yeah. I wanted that to happen so badly. Didn't happen. In this book as well, I wanted that character.
Them to be able to save like a fragment of her or something.
Like, oh, we're giving away the ending.
I know, sorry.
I wanted the ending to be like, oh, she's back somehow, some twist.
Yeah, like some way, a little portion or something to where she can be her again at some point.
Because she was such a great character that if not back in this story, at least back in one of the future stories, because there's 6 books in this series.
Yeah. And it'll take her time to recoup. You know?
God. But the only thing that gave me hope for book 4 was that he's heading back to Dr. Mensah. We're going back to the beginning. We're getting some nostalgia.
I just love how he was like, he didn't even really know where he was going. But then like the moment that he realized his body was just going in that direction, he's like, oh, I'm going back.
Yeah.
I'm going back. It was so exciting.
And I'm on board. I definitely want to go back to see, because now he has so much to talk about with Dr. Mensah, meeting Mickey, meeting Art. He understands himself a little bit better. He understands his emotions a bit better.
And he also has the information he needed that he got from the geopods.
Oh, yeah.
For Dr. Mensah for that whole case. So,
he's got some value.
Yeah.
Other than just existing.
And being hilarious.
Yeah, he's still so witty, so sharp, so funny in this one. He talks about... There's so many quotes. I mean, I know I often say, like, angsty teen, but there's one in here specifically that I'm just like... He says right here, chapter 4, page 65, I was sort of used to talking to humans and making eye contact, although I didn't like it. That totally sounds like my teenage daughter. Like, she just refuses to make eye contact unless she has to.
Yep. I just like how it was consistent, though, at least, which
Yeah,
makes it funny.
the character is definitely consistent, and that's 90% of why I'm coming back, because the underlying story besides Murderbot is a basic like sci-fi story. Kind of actually in book 3 reminds me of the plot from Aliens. The second Aliens movie. They go to a station, it's abandoned, but there's some kind of murderous creatures running around, and one of them gets kidnapped, right? So just like in book 2,
lure them in.
yeah,
You're
just
right.
like in book 2, in movie number 2 of Aliens, all of the colonists get abducted and pulled further in, and then you have to go rescue them.
How did I not see that? That is crazy. You're right.
Yeah, so Murderbot and some other security consultants have to go into the station and fight off some security bots.
They're not called security bots. They're called combat bots.
Combat bots? Yeah, something
they're
like
called
that. Different
bots.
kinds of bots.
But I like how they're, like how she explains the way they look. They're almost spidery and like long, like really scary creepy fingers and stuff.
I thought this was going to be a horror story. Talking about horror story.
I was like, ooh, what's there?
Murderbot learned so much from serials. In this one, he talks about watching a scary movie, right? Yeah. And then when he goes to this station, he gets creeped out by a dark space and his human skin like prickles.
Yeah.
And he's like, I watched the thing once. He's like, I'm not saying I believe in ghosts, but let's just play it safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how we're meeting all kinds of different robots throughout the series.
I thought those combat bots were legit crazy. I was like, these are the ones that you need on your side. Like, they are almost indestructible, I felt like.
Yeah. The way she explains those, like you said, are super creepy, but also the station they go to is really well described.
Yeah.
And I know I keep saying this, but again, Martha Wells is writing super sharp, super succinct, and she is able to paint this vivid picture of that station within like a short paragraph.
I felt like I could navigate it myself.
Yeah.
Never even been there. What was the name he gave himself in this one? Rin.
Yeah, he called himself Rin. He calls himself different names throughout the thing, right? That's why I keep referring to him as Murderbot, because I don't think he either has a name or he hasn't told anyone.
He said that he gave himself a name, but he hasn't said it. Did he ever say it at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he said
he may have told Dr. Mensah.
I felt like this one was more, how do you say, science-y than the other two.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right? Because I felt like there was a lot of moments where I was like, ooh, I gotta replay that, because those were a lot of words that I never even would have thought about or put together or something to understand what he's talking about.
I feel like there's a lot of moving parts in this one, because once he gets on the station with those other security guys, a lot of pieces are moving around and he's maneuvering into places and things are quickly happening.
And also because he was kind of still hidden at that point, so he was trying to keep an eye on like legit everything at the same time.
And then he also, you said his name is Rin, right? To Mickey.
Consultant Rin.
And then he gets kind of revealed and he has to come up with a new lie, and then he gets revealed again and then he has to come up with a new lie, and I'm like, Jesus, we're at like lie number 4.
I know. I was like, oh my God.
I don't even know where we're at. I kind of lost track of that whole thing.
I know. I think even he did.
I was just like, okay, I believe you. You're fooling them.
I know.
Or you're not fooling them.
No, I think at some point he was like, they know I'm lying. It's fine. We're just gonna go with it now.
So
we're just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, I kind of just ignored it because I was sure that Martha Wells probably knows what she's talking about. I'm just too stupid to understand it.
Yeah.
But you're right, it was a bit more technical in this one, also because he does a lot of hacking in this one. He hacks all the different bots.
Yeah. You know what I kept thinking about the entire time for this third one? I kept thinking, Martha Wells is so just amazing. Like, when you read, you start to, like, really care for characters, you start to identify with them, things like that, right? But I truly felt like she lived this life. You know what I mean? I feel like this is real.
Yeah.
And he's real. And, like, did she experience this? Did she go into the future? And, like, I don't know how to even explain that.
I think good writers have a vision, right? They have very sharp visions, and couple that with their ability to explain those visions, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we all have very vivid dreams, for example, right? But not all of us have the language skills needed to explain those vivid dreams.
Yeah. I surely don't.
So I think that's what writers have a gift for. Martha Wells definitely has a gift for, is explaining what she sees in her mind and putting it in our mind. The magic of books.
But I mean, I swear, I feel like this series in particular, I'm just, like, my mind is, like, odd.
So the only complaint I have about this book, I know, this book and the entire series is not anything about the writing. My one complaint about this book and the entire series is that they are expensive. Every one of the books is super short. It's like a novella, right? 180 pages.
Oh, I see.
Every book, except for the first one, I think, is about $10 or $11. That's a lot of money for a novella.
I know. I agree. And I know a lot of the comments were saying that throughout every single book. I would open it up and it was like the same reviews over and over. Yeah. Too expensive, too expensive. Why aren't they selling it in like a bundle or something?
I saw a bundle and it was like $5 cheaper.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. It does suck, but honestly, take my money. Take it. Do you want triple the price for one book? I'll work overtime. I'll work a double shift.
She's working overtime for you, Martha Wells, just for her to hand over her money.
Pretty much. Take it. Just take all of it.
I can justify the $10.99 if it was maybe a longer book. I know I was just complaining about long books, but
you want this to be longer. It's like those really good movies or shows that you're like, I'll sit there and watch it for 10 hours straight. I promise you I will. I will. Take all my money, make it longer. I'm down.
And she's obviously knows what she's doing because she's selling tons of copies. I am more than willing to pay for all of them. And the books are winning a bunch of awards.
Can you imagine if it was a TV show? They'll ruin it.
This could easily be a TV show.
They'll probably ruin it, but like, I would watch the heck out of it.
Who would you see as the main character?
The only one person I can imagine playing him is Michael Fassbender.
Oh, from the Aliens movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure he's from other things.
Yeah, I know.
I remember
He's from other things. But I think he's just so good, and I think also because he played like a android or whatever type, so I kind of got a good sense of what he could do already.
I think he's a good actor, and I think he could pull it off. I do see Murderbot as like an angsty, or at least
younger?
I do see Murderbot as like a teenager or younger, but only because of his emotions are kind of lower, like I was explaining before. But he is
a man.
A man, yeah. So I think Michael Fassbender could pull it off.
Yeah, I think so.
And
from
then
the start,
each season, I guess, could break up one book, right? Or one or two. Every season can be one or two books.
Come on, 6 seasons. I'm there.
Then, once you pass book 6, just explore the universe with Murderbot. That'd be fun.
Oh my god, I would be so excited. I'd be crying and laughing. And
The Expanse just ended on Amazon, so they've got plenty of money.
Hey, Amazon.
They can put that in the Murderbot series.
I know. Oh my god, no, seriously. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
That would be good.
I would be so down.
Jeff Bezos is obviously a fan of science fiction, so I think he would like the Murderbot series.
Yeah, so everyone comment and share, and so hopefully Jeff Bezos sees this and he's like, hey, they're right. We should get on this. The one thing that bothered me, I loved all their names. I thought it was super cool because they gave like this really futuristic, like special type of names. Like they're just so different, right? Nothing that you hear nowadays. But good God!
You find them hard to pronounce?
Yes, hard to pronounce. I'm like, I can't even freaking think about how that would be spelled.
The only reason why, well, you probably are in a better situation than me because I read the books. You listened to them.
Exactly, and that's but that's also what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, if I was reading this, I'd be having a hell of a time right now. I'd be like, oh my god, how do you even pronounce this? Yeah. I need her to send me an audio clip of how you say all these names. It needs to be attached to the book.
This one's not as bad, but you're right. The names are pretty bad. I've read some fantasy books with some crazy names. And in my head, I always just like give them my own name.
Yeah,
and as I'm reading, I just say my own name, which does not help when I'm trying to explain the book to somebody else.
They're like, who? Was that even a real character there?
I don't remember that character at all.
You're like, my K? Who's my K?
But it just helps me because I'm not going to sit there and say like a 5-syllable name.
Yeah, like Hirina. I thought that was a super cool name, but I felt like if I had seen it written out, I'd be like,
see, what was it?
It's Hirina.
Hirina? I said Hiram.
See?
Yeah. See, in the book, when I was reading it, nobody helped me. My stupid brain said Hiram. And in the audiobook, it's Hirina?
Hirina.
I did not say that once in my head.
See? So I knew it because I was like, oh no, people that are reading this, they having a hard time.
It's not hard, I guess. The first time you come across a difficult name, it's hard. You're like, am I going to try to figure that out?
But then there were so many, and then for a second, I kind of forgot who Hirina was. And then who was the main person that Mickey was like good friends with, like the main researcher doctor or whatever.
Yeah, it only helps that this is short. So it's short, couple of characters, that's helpful. But in longer books, I'm like, dude, if you're not in every chapter, I am forgetting completely about it.
Yeah, because those names, oh Lord.
So this is a good book. Are you looking forward to book 4?
I'm looking forward to book 4, 5, and 6, and the TV series.
So this is the end of our 3-book series of the Murderbot Diaries. If you want us to read and review book 4, 5, and 6, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Bye.